Hi, I'm Paul Sheehan, executive editor of Gold Derby, and we're a little punch drunk here. It's David Buchanan and Sam Eckmann. 'Cause we've been talking Tonys for a long time. We've talked about musicals, we've talked about plays, and now we're going to talk about the hardest categories. So we left those till the end when we're all a little giddy, and that's the Creative Awards, most of which are given out before the show starts on CBS this Sunday night. But they're the ones that can win or lose the Tony predictions contest. So, David, I'll come to you first. You will talk about the musical categories, and let's start. Well, you start. What's the Creative Awards? Which one do you think is the most prestigious?
Um, in terms of musical, it's hard to talk about one without the other. I guess I always pair book and score together.
Uh-huh.
In terms of, at least in terms of prestige, I think they're both really. I guess score is more because it has more noteworthy names. But I think this year it's going to the same person in both categories. Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to win book and score for Hamilton, hands down.
And Sam, are you in agreement with that?
Yes, unless those many people who were posting like articles not knowing what book was because they thought Hamilton couldn't win because it was all sung through. That can still win. It still has a book, and it's going to win. So Manuel Miranda is going to get both awards pretty easily.
Well, no. Okay. How does it have a book?
Because a book is not just the dialogue of a show. It's not just the lines in between songs. It's the entire structure, the whole skeleton of the show. It's how everything comes together.
Okay, so Sam's an actor. So the book, does he? When you mean like the scene, like the whole.
Cats had a book. That's all sung through.
Sorry, you cut out there. What's that?
Cats had a book, and that's sung through. That's won the Tony for Best Book.
Okay.
It's the structure and the placement of songs and how songs, the pacing of those songs in terms of, is with a show with dialogue too, the length of the dialogue scenes and the songs and the structure of that. But even in a sung-through show, you can't he didn't just write the score as one long piece. It's methodically placed. What songs are happening where scenes are interjecting, layers of dialogue within the songs. It's all of that structure is the book.
Gosh, these are smarty pants. Because I really thought that I was one of those people. Well, the book is the lines.
Well, it kind of the issue kind of exploded this season. Like Sam said, there were comments about wondering how Hamilton could even be eligible for book. The Drama Desk Awards eliminated the book category this year, and then they had to reinstate it because there was an uproar. And there's a really good New York Times article. If you haven't read it, you should, with a lot of book writers and other musical theater contributors defending and articulating the importance of a book. It's a really great piece.
Oh, all right. So they just came by this knowledge recently, then, these two. Okay, I was thinking. All right, so then choreography. I just decided we'd talk about that next. Choreography, is it going to be... all these names are so hard to pronounce. The Andy Blankety Blank from Hamilton.
Blankenbuehler.
Yeah.
Andy Blankenbuehler. I think the race is between him and Savion Glover from Shuffle Along.
Uh-huh.
And I actually think this is one of the tightest races of the night. I think I'm predicting Savion Glover rather, right now, just because Shuffle Along got 10 nominations. They obviously loved it. The dancing is the show. Even with all those stars above the title, the dancing is the centerpiece of the show. And it's showy, and it's the type of stuff they love to give this award to. Whereas Hamilton, the dance and the movement are integral to the storytelling, but kind of intermingle in a way where you don't know where Andy Blankenbuehler's work ends and Tommy Kail's work begins, which is great and seamless. But I think they're going to go, it'll be tight.
And David, you're in agreement on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's as close as that. I mean, I guess I should just say in any of these categories, Hamilton could win regardless of who we're saying are front runners, any of these creative categories, Hamilton could theoretically win. That being said, I do think Savion Glover is going to win. And just like Sam said, the show is really a dance-heavy show. I mean, almost every single number in Shuffle Along is a full-blown production, choreographed number. The amount of dance is enormous and immense and so impressive. And he's beloved in the theater industry from a young age and through now. He just keeps proving his talent and how innovative he is. So I think this will be the one award that Shuffle Along absolutely wins at the Tonys, and I think that might be it. So I think all the more reason why they're going to win this one, because it'll be the only one.
So between this and if Philippa Soo doesn't win Best Actress, does Hamilton? Does it even tie the record then for the most wins?
I have it winning either 9 or 10. Depending on, there's 2 categories that we haven't talked about yet that it might win, it might not. So my tally I have, I think, at most 10. So that won't tie or break the record. But again, those that I'm thinking it won't win in these creative categories, it could easily win if they just, if they're going full blown Hamilton sweep.
Right, which happens at the Oscars. I'm not so sure it happens at the Tonys. So, what about orchestrations, though? Is it going to win that?
I have it winning orchestrations. Yeah.
I think fairly easily. Going back to how many it's going to win, I have it winning 10, and I think the third one it's going to lose will be scenic design.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So orchestrations, that's a category that one of our
loves.
What's that, Sam?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, I was just saying about orchestrations. That's a category that Jonathan Tunick, somebody who's got the EGOT, won. And that's not a category that's been around for decades upon decades. What I'm interested about on the design ones is that the Tonys had and then dropped very quickly the sound design award, which I thought was very unfair. So they've got lighting, costume, and scenic. So who do you both saying that the Hamilton scenic designer is not a slam dunk, so who do you think it might win?
I think, Sam, I think I heard part of what you were saying. David Rockwell for She Loves Me for the jewel box set. I think he's going to win that one.
Is it the kind of set that people applaud when the curtain opens? A lot of roundabout theater productions get applause for sets.
Sam, did you see She Loves Me, Sam?
The show, after a number, it splits open and unfurls and reveals the inside. It's all immaculately decorated and stylized. It's just, they love moving parts and all these like gargantuan sets, and I think that's going to be. It could actually be the only thing She Loves Me wins, despite all its nominations. But I do think they're going to win that category.
Yeah, me too.
And then costume design on musical.
Yeah. I have Hamilton winning. I have it in first. I think if it will be upset, it could be upset by Shuffle Along. That could be the other award that it might win in the evening. Just again, because the costumes in Shuffle Along are so elaborate, and there's so many of them. I could see it winning on its own merit, but I think Hamilton will probably win that category.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shuffle Along will come close. I just think Hamilton is it's stylized enough, and it's a period piece, but a remixed period piece. So I think it has enough going for it with the costumes that people will just check it off because it's Hamilton. So that's what I'm predicting as well.
And what about for lighting design?
Oh, I have. Oh, sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
All right, delay.
It's okay.
That one I do have Hamilton winning. I think that's the design category that they don't really need to worry about. I don't really know I don't know even if I have a second place choice for that too.
Yeah, I do have a second place for that. I agree. I think Hamilton is going to win. I have that as my choice. If anything is going to contend, I think it would be American Psycho. I just saw it on Sunday, second to last performance, and it just in terms of the sheer number and volume of lighting, the audience is kind of inundated with really neat lighting and great lighting cues, and I know projections aren't included in the lighting category, but if voters don't know that, is it? I thought it is. Projections are in. I thought projections were.
No, I'm mistaken. Yeah, just kidding.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be, but if voters have that confusion too, because there isn't a projections category, if they think projections are a part of the lighting, that would be they use projections so much. So I think it could be a spoiler, but probably not.
And then on the play side, there's just the three design awards to talk about. So let's just start with scenic design. Is there a play that you think is sort of the clear front runner for that award?
That one's interesting because I think The Humans is out front because they have this big two-story apartment. It stretches all the way from the proscenium to actually the floor of the orchestra. But probably the most impressive one that would normally get it is Thérèse Raquin.
Yes.
Beowulf Borat set with the lake on stage. But I expected that show to get a lot more design nominations, and it only got this one category, so they didn't really embrace it. So I'm not really predicting him to win because I have a hard time seeing them picking out this only nomination for the show that they didn't really go for. So I think David Zinn gets it for The Humans.
I agree. I have David Zinn for The Humans right now. I definitely agree that Thérèse Raquin could be a spoiler because, wow, was that every aspect of that set was so impressive. The river and the rowboat and then the Paris apartment flying up and down from the rafters, the skylight apartment. I mean, just sensational work. I also think, and let's see, do I have his name here? Christopher Oram for Huey. That was the only nomination Huey got, and that was really the only part of the production that got raves in every review of that. It closed so early, people really didn't like it. But
no one saw it.
Yeah, but that set design, well, that's true too. Maybe they didn't get to see it, but that set design really was well received, and it just won the drama desk too for set design. So I thought, maybe it could do it.
Well, that's what's so interesting about it versus film and television. I mean, these things you've got to go to. You've got to make a trip, go to the theater, and like you just said about Huey, which had this shortened run. I mean, it was going to be limited, and it became even more limited. That does probably work against you. So let's see. We talked about set, light, production, costume design. Excuse me, for plays.
I think the big thing with costume design is Jane Greenwood finally going to win a damn Tony? She has a Lifetime Achievement Award. She's one of the best costume designers in the business, but she's never won a competitive Tony after 18 or 19.
20. This is her 20th. 2-0.
Well, that's stupid.
And she's never
so
won.
Give her the Tony already. I think this is going to do it for her. I think.
And what play is she nominated for?
Oh, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Okay. So.
And one of the costumes is even a centerpiece, like a plot point in the story, and it's a period piece. So I think it'll finally happen.
Now, does it? And I don't mean to take anything away from her achievements over the years. Does she deserve to win for this one versus the other nominees? Who's else is nominated that you think is a credible winner?
The only other one that I had that could be a spoiler for that was Noises Off, just because those costumes to me were really memorable. Like Megan Hilty's costume was like an integral part of her performance. Like there are some memorable pieces. And I don't remember the other two. I know Eclipsed was one of the other nominees. I don't remember the other nominee. I'm sorry to say.
A lot of people are predicting Eclipsed, and I don't.
No, I don't see it.
I just like the costume work is good in it, but they very rarely go for modern dress like that.
But,
you know what I mean?
But do we? Yeah, I agree. I don't see Eclipse doing it, but do we have Eclipse not winning any? Maybe featured actress in an upset, but we have it not winning any awards?
Yeah, it could be the only place to reward it. The other nominee is King Charles III.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, they could actually really like those costumes as well.
So now, what's interesting though is to Sam's point earlier, that play. I think that play underperformed when it opened, and when it had come over from England. I mean, it was there was a lot of buzz, and I remember it felt like the nominations, they got a few, but it did seem like it underperformed. It was sort of, when it opened, it was the front runner to win. And but boy, wouldn't that be something though if the costumes end up winning and this woman, Joan Greenwood, yet again. Like, I guess the only nice thing is that it ain't on TV, so nobody will see her sad face. So, likewise,
they still post it online.
And they show like 5 seconds of the acceptance speech before and after the commercial break, right? Like they'll say, score was won by so-and-so, and they'll show somebody saying, thank you, and then they cut back to the ceremony.
I think they stream it at TonyAwards.com now. I know for a while PBS showed it. What is fun to watch, though, is these winners of a certain age, and it's at Beacon this year as opposed to Radio City, when they're making that mad dash from the back of the up. Even though it's not on TV, they still make them run, and they give them such a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
At the end, at least they get to go home with a Tony. So, well, listen, thank you. You guys both deserve Tonys for your...
Wait, again, there's one more, Paul.
Wait, lighting design, Paul.
I thought we talked about lighting design.
No, not yet.
No, of a play, which I think is basically a 4-horse race.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay. So go ahead.
I'll dive in. So I think it's really weird that on Gold Derby, a lot of the experts have A View from the Bridge kind of overwhelmingly out front. But
given that I'm one of the experts, and I'm supposedly the best expert, I think you can now understand why they have it out in front, because they don't know what they're talking about. So educate me so I can steal your prediction.
Well, the play is closed, and I'm just not sure. Like, I think there's a lot of angles that it could go for. A View from the Bridge, I think Natasha Katz does a really great job with that lighting design because it has to transition from day to night. It gets very kind of surrealist as it goes on, but no one seems to be. Is anyone predicting her?
Are you talking about the Crucible for lighting design? I'm sorry.
No, I was talking about Long Day's Journey. I might have frozen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you did freeze because you were saying View from a Bridge, and then suddenly so we were confused. I'm always confused, but in that instance, it was legitimate.
I agree. It's a 4-horse race. I have Justin Townsend for the Humans right now, and I'll say why. I'm not totally confident on it, but to Sam's point, and we didn't want to spoil it in the earlier video when we were talking about play, but those last 15 or 20 minutes, which are really quite scary and really emotionally impactful, most of that is done through the lighting or absence of lighting. Like, that to me is the reason why the climax of that show is so perfectly executed, is because of Justin Townsend's lights. So for that reason, and the fact that Justin Townsend's also nominated for lighting of a musical, and I don't think he's going to win there, I think he could do it here. I think A View from the Bridge could win. I know that all the experts are predicting it, and the only reason why is because the staging of A View from the Bridge was so spare. There's basically no staging. It's kind of like a boxing ring with no set pieces. So the lighting has a lot of heavy lifting to do in that production, and it's hard to. I heard another podcast of people talking, and somebody was saying, it's really hard to light a bare white stage. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know very much about lighting, admittedly, but there's some people saying that there is merit to the idea of that winning. So I could see either one of those winning. I don't know, though.
And I'm now of a certain age, I should know more about lighting, because it's But Sam, what do you have the final word?
Well, I wondered, speaking of how much people know about lighting, if that hurts the humans actually, because again, it's that moment that we were referring is the absence of lighting in a way, and a very specific minimalist use of it. So I wonder if they'll, like, if someone who doesn't really know much about that design aspect like really gets that, if that's like, I wonder if they'll get that that's like a really impressive hard thing to do. But I also feel unconvinced about View from the Bridge, because if you're going to vote for Jan Versweveld, which I'm sure is a butchering of his name, but that's Ivo Van Hove's partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be nice if they both won.
I don't know if Sam was saying earlier, I know he was talking about Long Day's Journey. Sam, were you saying that you were predicting Long Day's Journey, or what were you saying about that earlier for lighting design?
I think he was extolling its virtues.
Okay. Well, I could see that winning too, especially since, as we said, it might not win costume design. I don't know what it's going to win beside Jessica Lange. So perhaps it picks up one of these. I think it'll probably win costume design, but if it doesn't win costume, maybe it wins lighting, so it picks up more than one trophy. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be interesting, and if we have any energy, maybe we'll all convene on Monday to do a post-mortem. And hopefully I've managed to steal enough of David's correct predictions and Sam's correct predictions that I beat them. I know that must really chafe that I did better than you guys for the nominations.
It's okay. You're a nice guy.
We'll get you next time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.